What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Socially Anime, where we give in-depth reviews. And today's episode is Attack on Titan Season 4, episode
62. If you want to get technical, 62, sir.
Yes, and I am Goke, and you just heard my boy.
I am the Kuma, not a Puma, but a Kuma.
Yep. If you like anything that we have to say, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and if you want to leave any comments below, be sure to do so. Let's get started.
Okay, so I'm going to apologize ahead of time. We have, at this point, concluded that Attack on Titan is kind of deep, and so we're starting out already very deep. I want to pre-name this episode, but I'll leave it to later. The episode's name is The Door of Hope. We start out with some very interesting memories, childhood issues,
trauma. What are you talking about? Memories, trauma.
Mommy didn't hug me enough. Well, she was technically hugging him, but man, so much already. So this whole episode to me is just Reiner mental health, dude. A lot of issues. This guy has a lot of problems. So I have a heavy start right at the jump. So the mom's talking to him. They're talking about becoming honorary Marlians. Did you immediately jump back to World War II?
Oh yeah, with the honorary Aryans.
Yeah. This? I'm not even waiting till the end to jump into this. Is the author, the creator, is this okay? Because let me throw this at you too. Where are our favorite main characters located? Like, what's their home base? What is that place called?
Paradis.
Right, and it's a what?
Island.
Okay, and Japan is what?
A bunch of islands.
A bunch of islands. Okay, I'm not saying that it's a total connection, but I'm saying there's a couple too many things in here that are connecting, and I started having to do a little bit of research. I don't know. It's a really far stretch, but a lot of that is blowing my mind right off the bat. You know, oh, we want to be honorary Marlians, and it becomes what he is so obsessed about that, as we've seen in episode 2 heavily, you know, he's got a lot of issues in his head about kind of this back and forth and like going beyond and above to want to be able to become Marlian. And he really does it. Why? Mainly because, I hate to say it, he's kind of got daddy issues, right? You know, his mom is saying like, well, if we weren't Eldians, we'd be Marlians and we could be a happy family. And that heavily drives Reiner. And I just think this whole episode, as we go through it, it's just like mental health exploding. And I just saw instances of World War II and Nazi Germany and the feudal Japan and all that. I was like, oh man, my head was spinning.
Yeah, I mean, it goes a bit deeper for Reiner, like you're saying, because he not only wants to be a full Marlian because of his dad and fulfilling that dream of his mom of them all living together as a happy family. Also, it probably goes a step deeper, along with every other Eldian there, of wanting to be a Marlian because of the rights that they have, because of the privileges that they have. And again, dude, that comes a lot with out here in the United States, man. Like, if you're half white and half something else, but we could just say Black American, sometimes people who of that ethnicity wish that they were fully white because of the white privilege that goes on. You may not agree that exists, but just a few days ago here in the United States, we had a huge terrorist attack on the Capitol.
Yes.
And the bulk of the people that were performing that act were white Americans and white people, and they had guns, they had bombs, destroying stuff. They raided the Capitol building. It didn't just happen in the United States Capitol, it happened in other states. But of course, the news isn't fully covering all the stuff that happened in the other states, just like in Marley, where the news doesn't cover a bunch of stuff. So it totally relates. But yeah, talked about the DC terrorist attack because of the way those people were treated versus this past summer, people were protesting about like someone getting killed and civil rights. And
Yes,
those protesters were vastly peaceful. Of
exactly.
course, there were boneheads, 100%, but not nearly as much as the one that happened the other day. And the response was completely different. The people let them in, let them destroy things, let them steal things, take things, didn't do the rubber bullet, didn't have any rubber bullets and
Rubber.
gas until maybe 2 or 3 hours before the attacks ended. So that difference between how they were treated was completely different.
Completely different. Hey,
So moving this back to what I said, yeah, Reiner is half Eldian, half Marleyan, and he seems, at least when he was a child, I don't know about now because I don't know what the heck's going on in this story, wanted to be full Eldian, and that society breeds self-hate, and it's just sad and disgusting.
it is sad and disgusting, and you couldn't have explained it any better. And sometimes you just have to realize the truth is stranger than fiction, and this is showing it for what it is. You got to look at the media, you got to look at the conditioning, because it's being wonderfully exhibited in Attack on Titan, right? These young kids who are in this warrior unit that are on the way to becoming the holders of Titan powers, they have as one of their requirements, they have to have a certain dedication to the government and to the country and to the race of Marlians. And if they don't have that, it doesn't matter how talented they are, they're out of the running. So that's a really, really important thing. The conditioning being so ridiculously heavy. And where I'm really feeling the buildup of Reiner's insanity, really is kind of where I'm going to go with it, is his conditioning was so wrong and so brutal, and yet he was fully on it. And that's the scariest part of the whole thing to me, is that it doesn't take too long to get that conditioning to go too far one way or the other. Goke just talked about, well, who do people fear the most in the United States? Let's not be brazen or worried about it. Let's be straight up. Black people are portrayed as the most violent, gangster, terrible people in the world. And yet, look who is the one that literally the United States government and capital has not been raided or attacked since the 1800s. And it was a majority Caucasian group that raided, literally with arms, guns, terrorist
Bombs, pipe
attack,
bombs.
pipe bombs, destroying property, moron and moron. So really, guys, let this, men and women, any listeners that we have here, let it open you up to understand you can't believe everything you're taught and shown. You have to truly live it and experience it to know what it is. It gives us a sense of security when we see it on TV. Oh, then I see it, it means it is. Not necessarily true. And I would say nowadays we are in this age of enlightenment. Take your time to really double check anything and everything you get to make sure you're getting the full on truth. Because as your boy Reiner shows, it doesn't do well for you if you don't. You get conditioned, you're stuck in that hole, it's not going to go well for you. So I'm going to start to move on a little bit more. So we have all these, instances of his childhood. And so you have 7 candidates, but only 6 Titans that are going to be inherited. And it's immediately pointed out right off the bat, Reiner is the weakest. And that shocked me because this dude is the armored Titan. He's really been kicking butt in the seasons 1 through 3, right?
Yeah,
Okay, he's your favorite, wasn't he?
He necessarily wasn't my favorite, but the armor Titan power definitely
Titan
was. And yeah, he is legit. He has shown a lot of strength, but yeah, his mental game has been off ever since we found out the truth about him. Like his
and I think that's really showing. They did a great job as they're showing the origin, like how did he get there? Well, you've got the mom conditioning him already, the mother as he's a child conditioning him.
His society
is kicking him down. He's being, segregated away and being like, oh, if you become like this, it's only going to make things better for you. So he's got all these aspirations that are jaded and incorrect. And on top of all of that, he's last in the warrior unit. Dude, you're not going to inherit a Titan. You're the worst, right? That's apparent right there. Bertolt is trying to be so nice, like, nah, man, like, let me console you. And he looks at Annie to try to get her, her considerations as well, and she's not having it really, and that's pretty hardcore with her character. Did you catch the grasshopper thing? Because I didn't understand that symbolism there. Did you catch that?
Nah, I really didn't. Maybe it was just showing how like tough and ruthless she is, because it was just a grasshopper in its environment doing its own thing, and she consciously made a choice to not
Snap.
only just squash it but like really kill it to shreds. And yet
Right.
she wasn't listening at all. And one more thing with this scene, dude, first of all, Porco is so annoying. Porco is the guy, is the younger brother of Marcel, who
Yeah.
eventually gets to inherit the Jaw Titan.
Jaw Titan.
But dude, he's been hating on Reiner since they were kids, dude.
Oh yeah.
And I guess I would feel pretty bad if my name was Porco.
I like it. Hey, how you doing, Porky Porco? Come on, boy. Yeah, that's a pretty terrible name. I agree. Well, things basically apparently don't look good for Reiner, but we know that he inherited the Armored Titan, so that was kind of interesting. Like, we know he did get it. Well, how did he get it? And obviously that's going to come up a little bit later.
Yep.
The big thing that stuck out to me is at the end of that opening scene, they switch over to Eren. So are you telling me that I'm supposed to investigate the two stories? Are these parallel storylines between Eren and Reiner that are supposed to be similar or matching?
I can't see it. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I can't see it. I just think that the story just lines up. So that was that scene right before the opening credits was right before Reiner and Bertolt went on their attack.
Let me educate you, young boy. Let me educate. Okay, no, I'm joking. I don't know for real at all, but this is my theory about it. Okay, so Reiner coming up, he's being conditioned. He sees the world through a lie, through his conditioning, and that is he's so dedicated to that one thing, and he wants to be the hero that saves, right? That saves the humanity, saves and becomes like the Marley, and like he wants to do right. That's his only trait, his dedication to Marley and his, his endurance, his perseverance. But he's the bottom of his class. Well, what about Eren? Eren grew up the same way, conditioned in a lie, stuck in Paradise Island, in the walls, Wall Maria, and all of that, not knowing what's really going on. We don't know what's really going on. We're watching season. We don't even know about Marley. We don't know nothing.
I don't know what's going on. Shut up.
And so I think that is a similarity, because Eren also was like, I want to become strong, aka the same thing here in so many. I want to become strong. I want to save us. Like I want to do these things. But these are two characters, young boys growing up, completely conditioned in their mind, in their soul, in their heart. They believe they're doing right. They both technically suck. Eren sucks compared to Mikasa. We've seen that a million times. He didn't do that well in the academy. He's actually in a flashback asking Reiner for help and things of that nature. So I see a lot of similarities there. So I think that's why they switched it over. So I think there's more similarities between Eren and Reiner than we might notice initially. And then we switch right over into this I like that they did the lineup. It helped me to completely get a feel for all of the kids in the warrior unit. And they basically do the lineup, right? Okay, Annie, the female Titan, Bertolt is the clock. They go through everyone. And that, because I didn't know Marcel or Porco very well at that point, so that was good. Peak, for instance, being the cart Titan and everything. So that's a really cool layout. Thought that was pretty dope.
Hey man, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you have to be a female to inherit the female Titan?
Ooh. Oh God, I didn't. Well, yeah, because the name is female Titan.
Right, because it's kind of dumb, like because the cart Titan.
Nice casting with you. I'm out. Kuma's leaving.
Yeah, because Pike is the cart Titan, but that doesn't like inherently look like a female.
Right.
So yeah, that's very interesting.
Dude. Like, okay, don't do that to me, man. It hurt my brain just now. I don't know, man.
It's not that deep of a question, really. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like, why won't they just call it like the martial arts Titan? Like, why does it have to be the female Titan? I don't know. It visually looks like a female because it has breast or whatever. But yeah,
sure.
I don't know. That
anyway. Is a wonderful question. Oh, I like that insight, dude. I'm gonna say just off the cuff, I don't like the name. Then now that you mentioned that, like, nah, it doesn't need to be. Yeah, it should be more of a skill than a gender. But yeah, I never
Yeah.
thought of that, man. Yeah, great point. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay, that threw me off. um, at this point, you know that Reiner ends up getting the armored titan, but then there's the whole part of Porco not being chosen. You're like, wait, okay, so Reiner ends up getting it, right? So how at the moment, we'll finish it up later, but at the moment, I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, what happened? And for me, it jumps right over into the next part. They're doing this parade through the town, and I was a little bit thrown off, but I was like, how did he recognize his dad?
Picture.
Because he never saw him before. I don't know. Maybe the mother explained it to him, but chases his dad in there, and his dad is like, nah, man, I'm not going to acknowledge you. I don't want to have anything to do with you. To me, that was the breaking point, in my opinion, for Reiner, from his childhood into his kind of mental state as an adult. I think that was the beginning of the breaking point. Would you agree with that, or do you think am I jumping the gun on that one?
I mean, that's just another check on the box of the mental abuse that Eldians and Reiner has, and especially him being half Eldian and half Marleyan. But in their society, there's no such thing as half Eldian and half Marleyan. If you have one parent that's Eldian, you're Eldian. Just like here, again, I'm saying in the United States, when I say Barack Obama was the first, you'll be intellectually disingenuous if you were to say anything but he's the first black president of the United States. But no, he's not the first black president of the United States. Technically, I mean, whatever. You could also say that he's the first Kenyan black and white American president of the United States. Yeah. But if it's that one drop rule, and we're seeing that here. And yeah, dude, Reiner's dad doesn't want anything to do with him. He straight up called, I don't want anything to do with you. You and your Eldian mother are gonna get me hung. Yeah. So again, that's another horrible thing. He is terrible, obviously. He's very terrible. And also he has a lot of societal pressures on him though too, because he might actually get hung. He might actually get killed for having a child with an Eldian woman.
I love that you bring that up, because I want to connect exactly what you're talking about with the father at the end. So I'm going to skip forward past that, but thank you for bringing that up, because yes, there's a connection, in my opinion, to that later on. So basically, Reiner gets a slap to the face. Like, yeah, your dream of uniting your mother and father, even though you're like top of the top, dude. You're the armored titan. I don't know what honor is higher than that. You're now an honorary Marleyan, and now you're getting the slap to the face of being like, that's still not going to get you respect or to be treated as an equal or anything. You're just a tool, basically. You're nothing to us. You're just a tool that we use. So big slap to the face, big lead into problems that he experiences going forward. So it's very apparent right after that, he's on the ship and he's being sent out to Paradise Island. And this part, you're going to have to help me with, man. But I feel like this is the downward spiral that Reiner is already going on. So they're there. He's still clinging on to this hope of this conditioned lie, basically, that he's been given his whole life about like getting rid of these Eldian devils on Paradise Island and all these things. So there's 4 of the warriors that are sent. You've got Annie Bertolt, you've got Reiner, and then you've got Marcel. And dude, I don't get it. They're talking, and then Ymir comes out of nowhere and eats Marcel. What was that? I don't get it. Help me, please.
So you legit don't get it. You're not trying to leave me anywhere.
No, I'm not, dude. I'm not joking. I don't.
Okay. You
don't get it. Please.
Okay. All right. So I guess this is I think this is like really connecting the dots, because I don't remember if it was season 3 or season 2, but we did learn that one of their friends was eaten by Ymir, and Ymir was in Titan form, and then she ate someone who, like, we really didn't know who it was at the time. I don't think we knew. And that was what made her be able to get back into her human form. Ymir ate Marcel, who was leading the mission into Paradis. Almost 5 years go by. Annie's like, yo, I want to get out of here. I want to go back to Marley. Bertolt's really not saying anything. And Reiner has since then taken the lead.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, man, no, we can't go back. Like,
You can't
we
go
can't go
back.
back empty-handed." So why were they able to go back? I think it's because they got a hold of Ymir, who has the
Jaw Titan.
jaw titan powers, but
Ah.
she can't activate it, of course, because she's already been turned into a titan, so she can't have like both titan powers. So we know now that Ymir is dead. They squeezed her
Squeezed
of
her flirt.
all her all the information that she might have had, probably had, or whatever, tortured her, and then they had Porco eat
Porco
her,
take the Jaw Titan.
and now he has his brother's memories and the jaw titan
Oh,
powers.
snap.
So that's why, again, why Porco hates Reiner even more in the present time, because now he remembers that, dude, man, my brother saved me, was trying to save me. That's why he talked crap about me to the uppers, so that this fool Reiner didn't get would get the armor titan powers. I should be the armor titan, and I remember everything that my brother remembered.
My God. Dude, thank you. My brain couldn't comprehend, because I'm like, well, Ymir is technically the pure Titan, right?
No, she was just like, she wasn't any.
Oh, she was just a pure Titan.
Yeah, she was just a mindless Titan, and she just by luck ate somebody
Ate
who
somebody
ate
that
one of
had
the
it.
nine, ate one of the 9 key Titans, which reverted her back into her human form.
This is why I podcast with Goke. I'm not even joking. This is thank you. I'm not even joking. That part, I was so dazzled. Dude, that connection. Oh, that's super. Oh, man, Attack on Titan is crazy rich and deep.
I'll say this.
That makes so much sense, because that was my next question. I was like, well, then how did Porco get the Jaw Titan? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, they showed it. But just to say, I might have messed up a couple of things in there, of course, but I think for the most part, everything I said was accurate. But yeah, anybody let me know what's up.
I feel inadequate that I didn't catch that. Oh my God. Okay, that makes total sense now. So, like you were just alluding to, right? So Annie and Reiner get into a pretty epic punching match as children after Marcel gets eaten. And I don't know about you, but I just ended up falling in love with Annie's character. I hated her character before, because I was like, what a traitor, right? When at the very season 1, right? When she's transforming the female Titan and all, I was like, oh, I hate Annie. And now I love her character. I love that she beat the snot out of Reiner and was just like, she basically, to me, the way I interpreted it, she was just like, screw all this drama and chaos and all this bull crap. And she's like, I'm tired of you whining, like beat the snot out of him, just like put him on the ground. I did not like Reiner becoming the leader. I didn't like that at all. I really didn't like that at all. He was like, I'll become Marcel. I'm like, you're not good enough to become Marcel. Dude just saved your life. He protected his brother. It makes Marcel, to me, a super honorable character. And it just makes Reiner a wimpy little piece of just a git, man. He's on my nerves already.
That's very interesting how that made you love Annie's character, just the fact that she lashed out at him like that. But yeah, I still feel the same way about her. Like, I don't really like her. I don't remember any redeeming qualities about her outside the fact that she taught Eren that one like a fighting move. But outside of that, like, I don't really have any redeeming qualities for her. Like, she was always just so quiet.
Yeah, she's so quiet, and I think that's what gives me that space to want to like her, because it makes me feel like she might have another agenda. Even when they were little kids and Bertolt looks at her and he's trying to get some recognition from her, and she's like, I don't really care, like I wasn't listening, and she dips out, she crushes the grasshopper. I just feel like there's more to her, and I love the fact that she's looking at Reiner, and she's like, literally later on, she's just like, I'm getting ready to puke, get out of my face, like get away from me, kind of thing. And to me, that shows the way I interpret it, she's so opposite from him. He's so conditioned, he's so mind blown, and he's just following all the wrong things. Annie is very quiet and very aloof and very distanced from it. And so I feel like she's got another agenda. Maybe she even realizes a lot more than she leads on because of her silence. That's the way that I interpret her. But after this episode, I liked her a lot more. And again, I might end up kicking myself in the butt for it, but right now, I'm loving Annie. So now you're getting the other side of the memories. When we're going through the years of Attack on Titan, the build up to season 4, we're seeing it all from the perspective of the side of Eren, right? And his friends, and they're on the condition side. We don't even know about Marley. All we know when the Colossal Titan appears, we don't know who they are initially. We don't know, you know, and so it was very interesting to me to see the other side of it. And now we're seeing it through the eyes of Annie and Reiner and Bertolt, and it kind of humanized it a little bit more. I got the feeling Bertolt was probably the most emotional one out of the three that are left over. And it made a lot of sense too why they didn't, because I'm like, with that kind of power, they could have just decimated everything there, but they penetrated and then dipped out, you know, and they're being very tactical about it. And the reason being, they're trying to draw out the founding Titans. So I like that they showed that other perspective from the side of Reiner, Annie, Bertolt growing, infiltrating. You know, they kind of also now have their own agenda that we can see from their viewpoint. So I found that interesting, man. What about you?
In my opinion, I don't think that they're showing it through the eyes of Bertolt and Annie. Really, they're there, but this flashback is all about Reiner.
And that's a good point. I love the part where they go back to when they're in the academy and their drill sergeant comes up to Reiner and he's like yelling at him. He's like, "Why did you come here?" And he says, "To save humanity." Oh man, the mind games with that one, because we saw that exact scene
He wasn't lying
years ago and we couldn't comprehend it for what it really meant. And now that we get to see Reiner's life, that same statement, those same two statements mean a completely different thing. Again, I'm sorry to be a butt kisser, but kudos to the writer, because that meant a whole different thing. When I saw it the first time, it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, of course he wants to save humanity from the inside of Wall Maria, knocking out the Titans. Well, now it's Reiner saying, I came here to save humanity, meaning I'm trying to penetrate, get the founding Titan out so that I can basically decimate you guys because you're devils, even though it's not. It's to me, that was, man, gave me chills basically to see that part.
Yeah, man. The creator Isayama Hajime definitely did his research on this story. He's great. He's great.
Kudos, man. I need help on the next part, man. You helped me earlier explaining Ymir. All right, what is this alleyway scene? Is that Kenny the Ripper? I thought it was Kenny the Ripper and Annie. Like, there's the girl and she's like daddy and all that stuff, and then she tries to roundhouse him. Is that Annie?
Yes, they show it's Annie at the end of the scene. Yes,
that's
and
what I thought. And then it's Kenny the Ripper.
It's Kenny Ackerman. Yes, Levi's uncle. Yes.
So, but she's calling him daddy. So wait, okay. So you're telling me Kenny is her dad?
Are you leading me on, or you really don't get
no,
it?
I swear.
Yeah, because you always do that. You're like,
you're giving me too much credit. No, I really don't know.
Is
I don't
blue, or is it really green? I'm like, what is he saying? Like, do you have something to say, or are you leading me on?
I'm confused. I'm confused.
All right, so she's trying to draw. All right, so why are they there? They're trying to draw out the founding Titan. She's trying. They can't just, like you said earlier, they can't just destroy everything because they might actually kill the founding Titan. So she's trying to draw out people who are strong, and she's in the underbelly of society right now, trying to figure out maybe the founding Titan is out over there. So she notices Kenny, who is obviously a super strong person, strong-willed. She sees that he goes to the brothel, and she doesn't know his backstory. He's not going to the brothel for why men usually, or men and women usually go to the brothel. Sure. He's going to see his sister, but without that information, she goes there and she's trying to say, oh, you know, you're my dad. And he's like, you're an idiot. No, I'm not. Why are you following me? She gets caught, kicks, and runs away.
Hey, this is Kuma. Everybody, it was a very nice run. I'm out because I can't be this stupid too often. So I'm dipping out of this podcast. I'll see y'all later. Jesus, I didn't think I was that stupid. I'm wow. Well, I'm just gonna take the L on this one. I'll take the loss. What was the hanging dude now? Okay, so Bertolt at the end. So they're having a meeting. So it's Annie, Reiner, Bertolt. They're having this meeting. Reiner is a lot older. They're all a lot older, of course, at this point, more mature. Annie seems really aloof. Bertolt kind of just looks like a follower. And they're just like, we should basically call it quits. Like, Annie's complaining, I've been running around doing all the work, basically.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier.
Can't dip yet. Yeah, just like you said earlier, exactly. You know, he's like, okay. And there's obviously issues between them because Annie literally says to him, I'm gonna barf. Can you move your face away from mine? That's another reason, because I think I just dislike Reiner so much right now. That was another thing I liked Annie about. And you know, they have that flashback about the guy that admits to abandoning his children while he was running away from Titan. And then the dude hangs himself right after that. So
Bertolt is talking about that. And I find that extremely symbolic as well, in many different ways. But I think that viewpoint to me is showing Bertolt might have been the more emotional side of those three characters as they were doing this infiltration part of it. Did you feel that with that part or what?
Yeah, after you're saying it, yeah, I can definitely see that. Annie is definitely cold-hearted,
Cold, man.
and Reiner is cold-hearted, but he has two personalities,
He
so
kind of does,
he's
dude.
kind of hard to tell.
Well, and then you're saying the two personalities. This has been an emotional roller coaster for Reiner. And bada bing, bada boom. Next scene, dude's got a rifle in his mouth.
Oof.
So man, wow, so much I can say about this. I'm just gonna keep it short and simple. Karma. Would you call it karma? Would you call it mental health issues? Would you call it realizations? Would you call it?
You can call it anything that you want to call it, but they showed his life from the beginning to now. He's had a horrible life. He's had a horrible life.
You're right, man. None of it was wow. So if I interpret correctly as well, he's getting ready to do it. The only thing that stops him is the new warrior unit, the kids that looked up to him, like we talked about in the last episode, that they have a lot of love and respect for him. And so I got the feeling that's why he didn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to have the feeling. He literally said that. He was like, "Oh, that's right. I still have those guys."
Yeah, definitely. And then there's the switch over right into Falco, who I think is the first instance of a true potential hero. And I just see a lot of similarities, connections, storylines going on. I could be overthinking it, but I feel like they're saying that Reiner, Eren, and Falco all have these similar storylines. This I want to be the hero. I want to be the person that steps up and saves humanity and does the right thing. But I think even Eren at this moment, he's too far gone. I think he's technically too far gone. First of all, he's already inherited the Titan, which means his lifespan has been trickling down to 13 years from the point at which he gained the Titan powers, right? And currently, Falco doesn't have a Titan, and he's still young enough. And his desire is, I don't want the Eldians to have to continue to fight. And it's just showing his character is leaps and bounds above everyone else, especially Gabby. And I think that Reiner, after all of his misgivings and his failures and his conditioning, is the reason why Reiner talks to Falco in the last episode and is like, you're the armored Titan. Like basically saying like, you're the one that should take it, right, to save Gabby from this dark future that's coming. I think that was the manifestation, as you expertly just described, of Reiner's terrible life. And Falco is like the only line of hope left in the group of, the warrior unit that's going forward. So personally, I'm a Falco fan right now as well. I just felt that connection there, man. What did you think about the Falco part at the end?
Well, you mentioned that the last episode he was talking to Reiner. Reiner wants him to become the armor Titan. And at the end of this episode, who is clearly Eren Yeager. You can hear the voice, you see his green eyes, or like one of his green eyes. So that's Eren he's talking to, this person who is missing one leg, whose eye is covered. All right.
You shut up.
Tone it down.
Okay, it is not Eren.
Tone it down.
Your face.
It is. If you have any type of hearing, it is him. It sounds just like him.
Are you saying you could tell by the sound of the voice?
I can recognize voices. Yeah, that's him. And even if you can't recognize his voice, you can see him. Like it's him. Even though his hair's long, his eyes are green, and at the very end it shows his eye being green. So again, we talked about this last episode in our review conversation of the last episode. Eren has to be in some type of disguise. Yeah, of course he does. So I don't know how he's repressing his healing to heal his leg, but apparently he's doing it. He's grown out his hair. He's bandaged up his face so people can't really see him. So yeah, man, he's there. He's there in Marley. I don't know how many years he's been there, but yeah, he's having this conversation with your boy Falco and is like, hey man, I think you're a good kid. I hope that you don't inherit any of the Titans.
I'm out, man. I give up. My apologies to everybody. This is why I never claimed that I'm an anime expert. This is why Goke is the expert, along with Onyx, who will obviously be back soon. Oh my God, thank you, and thank you again. I didn't catch 3 or 4 huge things in this one, and this is why I love being a part of Socially Anime, because you are my go-to bro. Much appreciated. I didn't catch that at all. I am not even gonna lie. I don't want to fake it until I make it. I didn't catch that at all. Hey, why don't you just do the outro? Because I got nothing to say. I'm done, man.
Well, it looks like Aaron is beat down, beat up, and all of that. He's at this hospital of Eldian war veterans who have all sorts of problems that clearly aren't getting treated mentally. But he kind of gives Falco a speech at the end. It's like, you got to keep fighting. And I don't know what's on the other side of that fight. I don't know if it's another hell. And I don't know if it's something that, I'm just paraphrasing, positive that comes out of it. But, some people just keep fighting. So even though Aaron looks so disheveled, I feel from what he just said, he's still down for the fight. And, that pretty much wraps up this episode, The Door of Hope. I want to thank anybody, who listened all the way through our conversation spoiler review. If you liked anything that we had to say, go ahead and hit that like button. Let us know in the comments what you think Aaron is doing specifically in Marley. And do you think that Falco will indeed inherit the Armor Titan? Yeah, let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next episode. Take it easy. Peace.
All right, out.